Hello everybody, I'm Mr. JP and welcome to Out of Ore, which for a surprisingly simple in development game is keeping me very busy. I decided to make YouTube videos about it, mainly because, well, after COVID and various hospital shenanigans, my life's in a bit of a hole, so I may as well dig a massive one and put it on YouTube. Why not? Always open to suggestions of things to build and stuff like this. I do play other games. We'll probably be showcasing, yeah, that's the right word, showcasing those other games at some point. So yeah, today. Currently I am stripping off the overburden from this mine, and yes, I am a load lock whore because I actually appreciate the lack of lag. Enjoy being able to just drive around stuff without losing the load everywhere. I can play without it, I just choose not to. It saves a lot of smoothing stuff out, you know. It also has certain uses in other vehicles. The dump truck's obviously the prime one that it gets used in. When using loaders just to move stuff around, don't really use it. Sometimes don't even use it when loading the dumper. Seen a lot of arguments about it on Steam. Personally, it's something you turn off and on, have some self-control, and don't use it if you don't like it. That's the way these things work. There's quite a lot of that in this at the moment. So yeah, anyway, stripping off overburden, just starting to hit pay dirt, so we'll probably be playing with machines at some point in the near future. But the main purpose of this is to provide me with a load of material for a road to the, I think it's the east communication tower, but it might be the north one, can't remember. Either way, it's the nearest, so we're going to be trying to build a road there. There we go, there it is down there in the distance, sat in that little valley. One, because it will make fuel missions so much easier, and two, there is an awful lot of very nice ore lying around it. It would be good to have a high-speed haul road, something flat, because flat is difficult in this game. There's not a lot of flat ground lying around near the base anyway. I got up onto a high mountain the other day and had a look around, and there appears to be some desert. I was stood in snow. It looks quite varied, there's plenty of space out there. I've heard rumours that you can only go a certain distance before the game crashes. If that's the case, I might suggest a reduction in the footprint of the game from 400,000 square kilometres down to, say, you know, a measly 40,000. Let's just reduce the processing power by, you know, a factor of 1,000, and save everyone some lag. And a massive save file, I suspect, because save files appear to be one of the problems. Some of these problems with this game are actually Unreal 4 related problems, from what I can tell. They're present in other in development games that use the same engine, and so I suspect there may be something in how the engine is written and how it utilises the hardware of the graphics cards, because crashes are all the same thing. Too many particles generated at once, and ka-dunk, doof, they die. Probably voxel games, mainly, seems to happen in. Space Engineers is one that's quite common, and you do a lot of mining at once and boom, your graphics die. Something else that does it. Oh yeah, when you collapse a mountain in 7 days to die. So Space Engineers, 7 days to die. Both voxel games both have this problem. Minecraft also had this problem. However, the lack of collapse mechanics in Minecraft meant that it was only when you brought down a sand mountain. Those were fun days. But yeah, a bit of history about this. Out of Ore is actually the second in a string of games developed by a gentleman named Christian, who deserves all of the big up in the world for building something like this. I think it's awesome. Someone had to take the, well, laziness of the developers of Gold Rush that haven't added any content and continue to say that there is, and kick their butt. And I think he's done it. I think he has actually hit the nail on the head with this one. Because I bought the original, Bergsbrook, expecting a multiplayer mining experience to play with my friends, which would have been cool. I was quite disappointed when it didn't come off due to a lack of a asset, I believe is the term that was used, which I believe is a component of the engine that allowed for multiplayer interaction, like a plugin. So the game didn't go anywhere as a multiplayer. So once he got over, I think, the disappointment, and I don't blame him, he's built out of ore. And the reason I give him a big up is because other developers that have had this problem built a single player game, wanted it multiplayer, released the multiplayer, and then charged all the people who bought the single player game that was the original one. Christian didn't do that. If you bought Bergsbrook, you got out of ore for free, and this is the best game I think I've ever played that I didn't pay for. It's kept me busy ever since it came out, and at first it was a little bit ropey. The last version, where the gearboxes were different, the vehicles were lighter, there was no load lock, was challenging. Driving was a bit more fluid and smooth because the gearbox could change down a little bit better, but you can get around it by just flicking it into neutral and then going forward again and you're back in first. You tend to do that when you're slowed down in a high gear and you can't get going again, so generally it's no loss to stop really, and it is quite realistic. Also means that you don't spill a loose load when you change down automatically. You can plan it, as it were. Joy of load lock as well. You can choose when you lose your load if you get a vehicle stuck, because when you recover, the load will probably be where the vehicle was. I don't know what happens when you leave it load locked, but it might just lock the entire lot in place and you can't unlock it or something crazy. So it's best before recovering a vehicle to unlock the load and dump it. And so you can sort of, as I've demonstrated in a previous video, you can shove a dump truck around using the bed into a position that isn't on your nice smooth road and then release the load. Which can be a handy save if you do not want to do a load of smoothing, or if you don't own a grader, which I have bought one. I haven't actually played with it yet. I need to get around to that. We'll see if I can make the grade. Ching. Since I'm road building, it'll probably be the time to try and use it. I will probably do my first play round with that on camera, just because it will be more fun that way. I best go and empty this full dump truck before I start losing load everywhere, because as each piece falls out, it makes a wheel jump, and then if the load isn't locked, another piece falls out, and it jumps, and it jumps, and before you know it, it's like popcorn maker in the back here, and everything's flying everywhere. It is possible for load to still be unlocked if it's added after the load is locked, or if it's outside of the load lock parameters, like the two rocks that are on top now are. You see them bouncing around? So load lock isn't a guaranteed fix-all, end-all problem. It can still get you. Oh, I'm going to try and roll it. No, we're all good. Right, this is the road, and these blocks that I've laid out show the rough level that I want the road to be. So what I do is just tip material out until it's roughly the right height, and then I'll go along here with, say, a front loader or a front excavator, and just roughly level it all out. And then I'll start moving in with the bulldozer to sort of finish it off, if necessary really, because doing it with the loaders works quite nicely. A lot of people have got a downer on the bulldozer. I think it's just because they don't know how to bulldoze. If you take it easy, don't try and chew off too much, you'll find that you get a nice even finish. If you drop the blade too far, you just chew it and come to a halt. Just trying to push too much. It's got a limited amount of power and a limited amount of grip. And that's the key thing, is keeping your grip. As soon as you put the blade down too much, get the front end. Unless you really want to cut down a slope, you don't need to do that. excuse my croakiness and general sound. I'm a fairly big guy, I've got a fairly big throat, worked in dusty environments for a lot of my life, so had in a trip to the dentist this morning and I'm feeling a little dry. Still, get this recording done, get it uploaded, I can have a cup of coffee. I like a cup of coffee. One of the few highlights of my life. So yeah, there is a lot of boring digging and grind. You've got to like digging to like this game. If you like Gold Rush, you'll like it. Probably going to like it if you like 7 Days to Die. Farm Simulator, I play a bit of Farm Simulator, enjoy it quite a lot. And just trying to think what other... don't forget SnowRunner. Yeah, that's grind. God, is that... like it's not the grindiest grind, but it is grind. SnowRunner is harsh in various places. If you want a game that's pure frustration, play SnowRunner on hard. To be fair, until you figure out how to use the construction mode in this game, that can be pure frustration as well. It can be a bit finicky, would be the best way to describe it. But if you hold down the left mouse button and move it left and right, you can rotate the blocks, and if you move it up and down, it changes the level it lays them at, which is why you see that I've got plenty of blocks laid out all over the place. It's because I've fought with it and learned how to use it, and yeah, you get there in the end. It's still finicky, it can still be a bit glitchy. It would probably help if there was a crosshair when you've got something in the build highlighted. So if you've got an item in the build box, like crosshair pop-ups, just allow you to see roughly where you're aiming, I think. Which block you're aiming at, which part of the block, since which corner of the block you aim at appears to be some kind of factor in the construction. Yeah, I'm going to be playing an awful lot more of this game. Stripping back this line, there is a couple of other seams just over the back in the way we're facing. Yeah, there's the excavator just there ahead of us now. By that excavator and just behind where the dump truck is, there's another 2 rather nice seams. Just arguing myself whether to extend this mine into them or keep them separate and rip that mine out from the side of the slope, which I think is what I'm going to go for, because I've just spotted there is actually another seam in the background. I can join him up underground later, get tunnel network going. Like a bit of tunnel. Do like a bit of tunnel. A lot of people moan about how the loader works, but it's kind of handy when tunnelling. The fact that it cuts out quite a lot of material above the bucket can be manipulated to your advantage, and it also means backbreaking is possible to get higher up big piles. So all in all, it's not necessarily a bad thing how the loader works. I'll be doing another video using some explosives underground at some point. Probably going to have to go on a lithium hunt. I've got 2.5 million, but if I start playing with machines, that will be gone because they're a little bit buggy, tend to eat money. But if I want to generate a lot of roadwork material using pay dirt, then that'll be the way to go. So thanks for listening to me babble for like 15 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up now because otherwise upload times get excessive. Thanks for listening and watching, and I'll hopefully catch you next time. Bye bye.